Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm Thomas Fields, training specialist for human capital. Today, I'm the CDL instructor, DPW CDL instructor for the CDL Academy. Today, I'm going to do the pre-trip DC on the Class 8 tractor trailer. I'm going to start, and everybody, y'all ready? My keys in my pocket, and my wheel is chalk. I check up under my vehicle, make sure there's no hanging wires, no debris, and no puddles. I make sure my vehicle is not leaning to the left or the right, which will indicate there's a suspension problem or my tire have a flat tire. My strobe lights, my marker lights, my left and right turn signal, all amber in color, not cracked, damaged, broken, not missing nuts and bolts, tight and secure. My headlights, clear in color, not cracked, damaged, broken, not missing nuts and bolts, tight and secure. My windshield, not cracked, damaged, or broken, no illegal stickers or obstruction. My windshield have a proper rubber seal. My wiper arms, not cracked, damaged, or broken, not missing nuts and bolts, tight and secure. My wiper blades, not cracked, damaged, dry rotted, or frayed. My mirror brackets, not cracked, damaged, or broken, not missing nuts and bolts, tight and secure. My flat mirror and my convex mirror, clean and clear, not cracked, damaged, or broken, tight and secure. Open up my engine. My coolant reservoir, now filled to the proper level. My cap got a proper rubber seal. It's not cracked, damaged, or broken, or leaking. Not missing nuts and bolts. Tight and secure. I check my hoses for damage and leaks. My belt-driven alternator. My belt-driven alternator. Not cracked, damaged, or broken. Not missing nuts and bolts. Tight and secure. My serpentine belt. Not dry rotted or frayed, and there's no more than 3/4 play in the middle. My power and steering reservoir. Filled to the proper level. Cap got a proper rubber seal, not cracked, damaged, broken, no leaking, not missing nuts and bolts, tight and secure. My power steering pump, which is down here. My gear driven power steering pump, not cracked, damaged, broken, or leaking, not missing nuts and bolts, tight and secure. My belt driven water pump, not cracked, damaged, broken, not missing nuts and bolts, tight and secure. My gear driven air compressor, not cracked, damaged, broken, not missing or leaking, not missing nuts and bolts, tight and secure. My air compressor governor, not cracked, damaged, or broken, no leaking, not missing nuts and bolts, tight and secure. My oil dipstick, I check in with the engine off. I pull out the dipstick, wipe it clean, reinsert it, pull it back out to get a proper read. My transmission dipstick, I check it with the engine running. I pull it out, wipe it clean, reinsert it, pull it back out to get a proper read. My air lines, air and electric lines, not cracked, damaged, broken, no leaking, dry rotted or frayed, tight and secure. My steering shaft, not cracked, damaged, broken, no bent, not missing nuts and bolts, tight and secure. My gear driven steering gearbox, not cracked, damaged, broken, no leaking, not missing nuts and bolts, tight and secure. I check my hose for damage and leaks. My steering linkage, not cracked, damaged, broken, not missing nuts and bolts, tight and secure, which consists of pitman arm, drag link, stern knuckle, tie rod, crown nuts, and cotter pins. My spring hanger, not cracked, damaged, or broken, not missing nuts and bolts, tight and secure. My leaf spring, not cracked, damaged, or broken, or shifted. If 1/4 or more is missing, the vehicle need to be placed out of service. My U-bolts, not cracked, damaged, or broken, not missing nuts and bolts, tight and secure. My shock absorber, not cracked, damaged, or broken, no leaking, not missing nuts and bolts, tight and secure. My brake chamber, not cracked, damaged, or broken, no leaking, not missing nuts and bolts, tight and secure. I check my hose for damage and leaks. My slack adjuster and push rod, not cracked, damaged, or broken, not missing nuts and bolts, tight and secure. To check my slack adjuster and push rod, I will place my vehicle on the level plane. I will chalk the wheel, release the brake. I will pull my slack adjuster out of 90 degrees angle, and my push rod should not come out no more than an inch. If it does, it needs to be serviced by a certified mechanic. My drum and drum lining, I check to make sure there's no grease and debris and they're not dangerously worn thin. I check my inner and outer tire for cuts and bulges. I check the surface of my tire to make sure there is at least 432 tread depth and they're not mismatched or regrooved. I check my inner and outer rim, make sure it's not crack damage and no illegal welds. I check my lug nuts to make sure they all are present. And I look for metal shavings or rusting, which indicates looseness. My hub oil seal, not cracked, damaged, broken, no leaking, not missing nuts and bolts, tight and secure. To check my hub oil seal, I will pull out the center cap. To refill it, I will pull out the side cap. I will check my valve stem and cap, make sure it's not cracked, damaged, broken, no leaking, tight and secure. And to check my tire pressure, I will use a tire pressure gauge. My door, I make sure it opens and closes smoothly. My door hinges, and make sure they're not cracked, damaged, or broken, not missing nuts and bolts, tight and secure. My handrail and steps, make sure it's not cracked, damaged, or broken, not missing nuts and bolts, tight and secure, and it can hold my weight. My fuel tank, make sure it's not cracked, damaged, or broken, no leaking, not missing nuts and bolts, tight and secure. My fuel cap, make sure it's got a proper rubber seal. And I check my fuel lines for damage and leaks. Okay, I check my header board and make sure it can properly hold my load. I check my handrail and steps and my catwalk to make sure it's not cracked, damaged, or broken, not missing nuts and bolts, tight and secure. I check my tractor frame, make sure it's not cracked, damaged, or broken, no illegal welds. I check my drive shaft, make sure it's not cracked, damaged, or broken, not missing or bent, not missing nuts and bolts, tight and secure. I check my spring hanger. Make sure it's not cracked, damaged, or broken, not missing nuts and bolts, tight and secure. I check my splash guard. Make sure it's not cracked, damaged, or broken, not missing nuts and bolts, tight and secure. I check my leaf spring. Make sure it's not cracked, damaged, or broken, no shifted. If 1/4 or more is missing, the vehicle need to be placed out of service. I check my U-bolts to make sure they're not cracked, damaged, or broken, not missing nuts and bolts, tight and secure. I check my shock absorber to make sure it's not cracked, damaged, or broken, or leaking, not missing nuts and bolts, tight and secure. I check my drum and drum lining. I check my brake chamber to make sure it's not cracked, damaged, or broken, or leaking, not missing nuts and bolts, tight and secure. I check my slack adjusting push rod. To make sure it's not cracked, damaged, or broken, not missing nuts and bolts, tight and secure. To check my slack adjusting push rod, I will place the vehicle on the level plane, chalk the wheel, release the brake. I will pull the slack adjuster out at 90 degrees angle. My push rod should not come out no more than an inch. If it does, the vehicle needs to be serviced by a certified mechanic. I check my air and electric lines. Make sure they're not cracked, damaged, or broken, or leaking. Tight and secure, and I check my glad hands to make sure they got the proper rubber seal, tight and secure. I check my drum and drum linings, make sure they're not dangerously worn thin, and there's no grease and debris between my drum and drum lining. And I check my inner and outer tires to check for cuts and bulges. I check my dual tires to make sure there's no debris and they're not touching. And my tread depth is at least 232 tread depth. I check my inner and outer rim to make sure it's not cracked, damaged, or broken, and no illegal welds. I check my axle seals, make sure they're not cracked, damaged, broken, no leaking, not missing nuts and bolts, tight and secure. I check my lug nuts to make sure they all are present. And I look for metal shavings or rusting, which indicates looseness. I check my valve stem and caps, make sure they're not cracked, damaged, broken, no leaking. And to check my tire pressure, I would use a tire pressure gauge. I would check my mud flap, Make sure it's not cracked, damaged, or broken, not missing nuts and bolts, tight and secure. I will check my lights, which is my brake light, my tail light, my marker light, my left and right turn signal, four-way flashes, all red in color, not cracked, damaged, or broken, not missing nuts and bolts, tight and secure. I check my reverse lights, clear in color. Make sure they're not cracked, damaged, or broken, not missing nuts and bolts, tight and secure. I check my mounting bracket to make sure it's not cracked, damaged, or broken, not missing nuts and bolts, tight and secure. And I check my fifth wheel and skid plate to make sure make sure it's properly greased and there's no daylight between my fifth wheel and the trailer. I would check my apron to make sure it's not cracked, damaged, or broken, not missing nuts and bolts, tight and secure. I would check my kingpin to make sure it's not cracked, damaged, broken, or bent. And my locking jaw is safely around my kingpin. I would check my load rings to make sure they all are present. I would check my DOT tape, make sure they clean and clear, not peeling. Make sure it's not. I would check my trailer frame to make sure it's not cracked, damaged, or broken, tight and secure. And I would check my platform, my metal and my wood to make sure they tight and secure and not missing. We have a hydraulic landing gear, but it's inoperable. So we don't say the hydraulic landing gear, we say the manual landing gear. We have a manual landing gear, not cracked, damaged, or broken, not missing nuts and bolts, tight and secure. I would check my marker lights and turn signal. They amber in color in the front, red in the rear. My trailer is not equipped with leaf spring. It's an equalizer beam. So I would check my equalizer beam and make sure it's not cracked, damaged, or bent, not missing nuts and bolts, tight and secure. I would check my shock absorber and air bellows. Make sure they're not cracked, damaged, broken, or leaking, not missing nuts and bolts, tight and secure. I would check my brake chamber. Make sure they're not cracked, damaged, broken, or leaking, not missing nuts and bolts, tight and secure. I would check my slack adjusting push rod. Make sure it's not cracked, damaged, or broken, not missing nuts and bolts, tight and secure. To check my slack adjusting push rod, I replace the vehicle on the level plane, chalk the wheel, release the brake, pull the slack adjuster out at a 90 degrees angle. My push rod should not come more than an inch. If it does, my vehicle needs to be serviced by a certified mechanic. I would check my inner and outer tires for cuts and bulges. I would check my dual tires on my trailer to make sure there's no debris and they're not touching, and they at least 232 tread depth. I would check my inner and outer rim, make sure they're not cracked, damaged, or broken, no illegal welds. I would check my lug nuts to make sure they all are present. I would check my axle seal, and I would check my lugs to make sure they all are present and there's no metal shaving or rust, which indicates looseness. I would check my axle seal, make sure they're not cracked, damaged, or broken, no leaking, not missing nuts and bolts, tight and secure. I would check my valve stem and caps, make sure they're not cracked, damaged, or broken, no leaking, tight and secure. And to check my tire pressure, I would use a tire pressure gauge. I would check my mud flap, make sure it's not cracked, damaged, or broken, not missing nuts and bolts, tight and secure. I would check my ABS light, which is amber in color. Make sure it's not cracked, damaged, or broken, not missing nuts and bolts, tight and secure. I would check my load ramps. Make sure they're not cracked, damaged, or broken, not missing nuts and bolts, tight and secure. I would check my DOT tape. Make sure they're clean and clear, not peeling. I would check my lights, which is my brake light, my tail light, my marker light, my left and right turn signal, my four-way flashes, all amber in color. All red in color, not cracked, damaged, or broken, not missing nuts and bolts, tight and secure, and they got a proper rubber seal. Now I would check my passenger side just like I check my driver's side with a few exceptions. I'm gonna name them. You ask the examiner, can you name them? He gonna say yes, and then you walk up. I'm gonna check my release level. Make sure it's not cracked, damaged, or broken, not missing nuts and bolts, tight and secure. I'm gonna check my exhaust. Make sure it's not cracked, damaged, or broken, no leaking. I check for common soot, which indicates there is a leak. I will check my windshield washer fluid. Make sure it's filled to the proper level. Cap got a proper rubber seal. It's not cracked, damaged, or broken, no leaking, not missing nuts and bolts, tight and secure. Now I will check I got 3 reflective triangles. I got a fully charged ABC fire extinguisher. I got a fully stocked first aid kit and spare fuses. And this time, I will ask the examiner, can he check my external lights? So I will close the hood. The student will get in, put the key in ignition, close his door, put on his seatbelt, his or her seatbelt. Say start the vehicle. Let the vehicle go through its channel. Then start the vehicle up. Now, as you're going through your light sequence, the examiner will raise his hand. So you start with make sure your lights are on, your headlights are on. You check your left turn signal, he'll raise his thumb. You check your right turn signal, he will raise his thumb. You check your high beams, he will raise his thumb. Then he will walk around to the back. You will do the same. When you get to the rear, you will check your left turn signal, you'll check your right turn signal, you'll check your four-way flashes. You check your four-way flashes. Then you'll put your vehicle in reverse. Then the examiner will come on the side. So after the examiner walk around, he will get in. Now, once he get in, you're going to say, while your vehicle is still running, you're going to say, my ABS light came on and off when I started up the vehicle. My seatbelt latches and unlatches smoothly. It's not cut, torn, frayed, or damaged. I got a 20-inch steering wheel, no more than 2-inch play in the middle. My city horn, my air horn. My mirrors are adjusted for me. My lights, my headlights are on. I check my windshield wipers. And my windshield wiper fluid is working. Hold the button till the windshield wiper fluid come on. Then, it's going to take a minute to go off. Okay. Then, your left turn signal. So now they want to see the gauges in the inside. They saw them on the outside, and then they want to see them on the dashboard. Left turn signal, right turn signal, your high beam, your four-way flashes. Then you're going to say, my oil is at the proper level, my temperature at the proper read, my voltage is at 14, my miles per hour is 0 because I'm standing still. I got enough fuel for the road test, and my PSI is reading at 120. I got a yellow diamond-shaped parking brake knob. Not cracked, damaged, broken, or leaky. Not missing nuts and bolts. Tight and secure. I got a red octagon-shaped trailer brake knob. Brake knob. Not cracked, damaged, broken, or leaky. Not missing nuts and bolts. Tight and secure. Then you would say, you turn to your defrost. You reach up here and say, I hear it and I feel it. Then you would turn it to the heat. Then you say, I hear it and I feel it. Now, you about to start your air brake test. So you ask the examiner, can you assist me in my 1-minute air brake test? He's going to say, yeah. Turn the vehicle off. Turn it back to the electric. This is important. Turn it back to the electric. You ask the examiner, is he ready? He say, yeah. Push in your brake knob, hit your brake. And then you're going to say, because what this does is stop it. You will say, I did not lose no more. I should not lose no more than 4 PSI in 1 minute. So now while the 1 minute is going, you waiting for the exam because he's timing you. For purpose of time, once the examiner say that the 1 minute is up, you're going to say, while your foot's still on this brake, you're going to say, I did not lose no more than 4 psi in 1 minute. Now you're going to say, while your foot's still on the brake, you're going to say, now I'm going to do my fan down. When I get to 70, 60, my warning buzzer going to come on. You say this before you start fanning down. Then you start fanning down. Once the buzzer go off, that's my warning buzzer. You point to them. That's my warning buzzer. When I get to 40, 30, my parking brake knob is going to pop out. You keep pumping until they pop out. Keep pumping. My trailer brake popped out already. Now you waiting for the track. Different trucks. That's my tractor brake knob. Different ones, different trucks. Some of them come out together. Some of them come out. So you got to pay attention. You got to be looking at them to see which one come out first. And you got to say that one came out. Now, start the vehicle back up. Take your foot, tap on the gas. You're looking at your RPMs now. When it get, you don't want to go. You don't want the level. Once you get it going, you want to leave it at 15. This will help build up the pressure faster. If you see the warning light on, when it get to, then you're gonna say, when I get to 60, 70, my warning buzzer and light is gonna go off. My warning buzzer and light went off. When I get to 120, my air governor gonna cut out. You gonna hear that? Shh. You try to keep it steady on 15 RPM, and I just help it build up a little fast. Different truck. This is an older truck, so it take a little longer. That's my air governor cut out. Now I'm on the third part of the air brake test. Now I'm gonna check my parking brake knobs and make sure they working correctly. So now I'm gonna start with my trailer brake. So to check my trailer brake knob, I'm gonna push in my tractor brake, and which I'm doing, I'm releasing my tractor brake, but my trailer brake is still engaged. I'm gonna put the vehicle in drive down to its lowest gear. Tap the gas, my trailer brake held. Now I'm gonna pull my tractor brake out. Now I'm gonna push in my trailer brake. What I'm doing there, I'm releasing my trailer brake, but my tractor brake is still engaged. Then I'm gonna tap the gas, my tractor brake held. Pull them out, put it back in neutral. Then I'm gonna tell the examiner, now I'm checking the last one, the service brake. And all you do is tell them this. You don't drive. You tell them, I would drive 5 miles per hour. I would tap my brake, and my vehicle should move to the left or the right. And this complete my pre-trip.